Okay, now we got the real topic here. We're going to talk about the medical system. Oh my God, I have so much rage for the medical system. Are you ready? So, here's my story. I don't know if everyone needs to know my history, but I don't really care, and it's going to help you learn something. So, this is what happened, my story with the medical industry. First, disclaimer, I'm scared of needles because when I was a little baby, I think this is pretty standard practice. They do this thing where they give you all your shots, but they do it in one go. Like, so we went for my shot appointment, and I got like fucking 8 shots in one day. And my mom said I even told the doctor, he came with another shot after like 5 of them, and I told him like, oh, it's full, like my arm's full, you can't put it anymore. And he was like, that's funny, and like kept giving me shots. And so I was scared of needles. Okay, that might be part of this, but when whenever I first started my period, it was really, really heavy. And don't be deterred. We're not going to talk about this for too long. It's not crazy. But they were like, wow, that's like really intense. Here, let's do some testing. And then they did an ultrasound and found cysts in my ovaries and determined just based off of that and heavy periods for the first year that I had them, oh, you might have PCOS. And here, take some birth control so that you don't literally lose all of your blood. And it'll come up later, but if we had been able to do blood tests and if the doctor was competent enough to get the right ones, we might have figured out a root cause, but that didn't happen. And anyways, heavy periods is kind of crazy, so stop the iron loss and stuff. That kind of made sense at the time, but we might have missed something. So I go on for years till I was like 20 something, just taking birth control, feeling kind of shitty. I definitely had depression and anxiety due to my household situation. I don't want to talk about that too much, but I did. And yeah, then as a 20 something year old, I was like, why am I always so tired? I'm always falling asleep, blah, blah, blah. And I finally got good health insurance and a good job. And then I went and got a full blood panel because I was like, I need to stop being scared of needles. Let's figure this out. So I actually have and had at the time hypothyroidism. I still believe that's a fact. Unmedicated for that, my TSH was over 10. It's supposed to be like under 5, and that's a sign that your thyroid is underperforming. Well, what the medical industry likes to do about that is not really track down the root cause, but they just throw this thing called levothyroxine at you. It's basically a thyroid hormone replacement. It's like synthetic hormone. And, that works. But you'll have to take it for the rest of your life. I will also say here, we did other blood tests and they did an ultrasound of my thyroid, and there was no other indicators to why it was happening. Like, the thyroid looks normal. The, whatever it's called, POS or something like that can tell you if it's Hashimoto's. Nope, came back normal, not that. So it's like there's not really a root cause. So I'm just on paper healthy, but I'm just going to have to take this pill for the rest of my life. Interesting. And this particular thing is now making me have to get blood work every year to check my thyroid hormone levels to get the pill every year. And if I don't get the blood work done, I don't get my prescription. I already have a problem with the birth control prescription because why do I have to go to the doctor and sit down in front of their face and pay $300? I don't have insurance anymore. I got to pay $300 for an exam to sit in front of the doctor for 10 minutes and be like, hello, yes, I am still a living, breathing female of reproductive age. I would like birth control again this year. Can you do that? I got to pay $300 just to get another year of birth control represcribed. Dude, I still got to go to the pharmacy and pay for that shit. Why do I have to go tell somebody every single year that I'm still a living, breathing female? That is insane to me. I've always been bothered by that. And let me tell you, the medical industry has failed me multiple times. Like, I've run out and not been able to get refills multiple times. And I'm not an irresponsible person, dude. Like, it's not me. It's the industry. So now I do this thing where I'll skip my medication sometimes just so that I can have some little bit saved up. And you know what else I'm doing now? I tell them I take my birth control continuously, which means I skip the inactive week so I can get an extra pack on every refill. So every 3 months, I get 4 packs instead of 3. I'm not taking that shit continuously, but you know what I'm also not going to do? Miss doses because this industry is fucking stupid. I'm not. So, get fucked. Anyways, I also did that with my thyroid stuff, and if you look it up, that's actually very dangerous and can be life-threatening. But sometimes when I am feeling rebellious, I just won't take it for a week or so to save some up so that if I'm having a stressful period in my life or like something happens and they aren't able to get me my refill on time, like anything could happen. They had a supply issue a few months ago and I just couldn't get it. Huh? And like they have to change like vendors sometimes, and that can be weird because what if I'm allergic to something and one of the other, I don't know, like there's all kinds of things. So the industry is very broken. I am so over it. But anyways, we're going to talk about this now. The next thing that got added to my pile. So now we're taking birth control and we're taking synthetic thyroid hormone, right? And I'm having to go to the doctor every year to tell them, yes, I still need birth control. And yes, we're going to do a blood test now for my thyroid medication that I supposedly need, apparently. And then I finally got my depression and anxiety addressed around the same time that I started thyroid medication for the first time, which, by the way, I did have to stop it because when I was in college, it was such a pain in the ass to go to the doctor that I wasn't able to. And because I wasn't able to get the blood test and the doctor's appointment, I just ran out. So I mean, I guess it would have sucked if that was actually necessary for me to live, and like it kind of sucked without it. Like I always felt weak. It hurt my legs and muscles to walk to class all the time every day. I was always exhausted. I was falling asleep in class, but what are you gonna do? Like, what am I gonna do? Get my mom to pick me up, miss class for a day, drive all the way home to my primary care doctor, or God forbid, go to the doctor at college that my insurance probably doesn't cover, or I need to submit a claim and then my like, it's too complicated. It's ridiculous. Or what am I going to do? Pay out of pocket? I don't even understand how that would have worked because I was a student. So who's paying me? My parents? Like, it's what? Anyway, it's insane. Like, and somebody's going to say in the comments, well, you should have just figured that out or blah. Like, no, fuck you. The system's broken. Like, okay? Okay. And then, so we got the depression and anxiety treated finally at college. Somebody finally pointed out, hey, I've noticed this pattern when I talk to you. You need to see the therapist or the psychiatrist here because it's actually free for students to see them and they need to just evaluate you. Well, sure enough, I have both anxiety and depression. That's not surprising given my shitty ass childhood. So I was started on therapy, which is great. Let's not just blindly medicate, but also started on antidepressants. Let me tell you something now. Even though I did have depression and anxiety due to my childhood and continuing due to my circumstances at that time, also the medication for hypothyroidism, if you're taking too much or something or whatever, that has this contradictory side effect where it can give you anxiety. So now we're starting to play with fire here. Like, if we don't get this right, then I'm going to need more of the other medication. And if you look up the side effects of antidepressants, there's so many because it's a sertraline reuptake inhibitor, or not sertraline, serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It's called sertraline. They're both S. So, and serotonin does so much more in your body than just help with your mood. So now you're playing with all kinds of different variables and systems in your body, and all kinds of other things can go wrong. And it's really interesting to look at. And like, I absolutely definitely needed it at the time and for the many years afterwards that I was taking it. But once I got a grip and eliminated all the stressful variables out of my environment, I got out of my abusive relationships. Yes, plural. Thanks, parents, for modeling that. And I finally got a job where I wasn't feeling like I was being pushed too far. Like, I got a job that's actually relaxed enough and enjoyable. And like, I got my home life under control, which was mostly leaving the abusive relationships and not having a crazy roommate. But like, after I fixed the environmental issues in my life, then it was like, where still is the depression and anxiety coming from? And I thought it must be that I just have a chemical imbalance. So this is very recent now. This is thoughts I've had in the last months. It must just be a chemical imbalance. I was probably just born broken. Because why else would I have had depression and anxiety for so long? Well, now we're going to tie everything together. Sorry it took 10 minutes to get here, but like, that was my entire like life. That's like 15 years in a nutshell. What I've been thinking about is I really hate having to take this thyroid medication. So now we're switching gears again. It'll make sense. Why am I taking this thyroid medication? I look back at all my tests. I keep my medical records because I'm a responsible adult. Okay. Um, and I was like, okay, the ultrasound was normal. The blood tests were all normal except the elevated TSH. What's up with that? And I did some research, and I hate to be that middle-aged woman. I don't know if I'm middle-aged, but I hate to be one of, you know what I'm talking about, that just, well, I Googled it for 5 minutes and I think, but like I actually Googled it for more than 5 minutes, more than, and I think what can cause this is something called iodine deficiency. Apparently, iodine is the one of the main components in your body creating thyroid hormones. And if you can't create thyroid hormones, your body pushes your thyroid harder by creating more TSH, which is thyroid stimulating hormone, because it says, hey, where's the thyroid hormones, T3 and T4? There's not enough of it. We're going to push more, like send more of the signal, TSH, work harder. But if you don't have the building blocks, how's it going to make it? It's like not. So that is the only logical conclusion I can come to. And I am so sad. My doctor that I had at the time was so good. We got almost there. We eliminated every other variable. And then, because of the way the medical industry is, she said, root cause unknown. But here's this pill we have that's pretty cheap and easy to take that just replaces those hormones that are missing. So this is the solution. That is so sad because we were so close to figuring it out. And I have iodine coming. It's called Lugol's iodine. And apparently you only have to take one drop, mix in a cup of water every day, and that can fix your iodine deficiency. So I'm going to try that and see how I feel. And if that helps, I might just get off of the thyroid hormone medication. And that just might be the solution. And you know what? Iodine deficiency in such a nice developed country, that's like crazy. How would that be possible? We have good food here. Well, watch my previous videos. Do we have good food here? Because we farm this shit out of the soil. There's nothing left in the soil. It's empty. There's no nutrients left. One of the things, like where iodine comes from, that's a mineral. It's in the soil. But if we've been farming and not giving the soil a break to replenish itself and not doing anything to put anything back in, how is it still going to get iodine into our fruits and vegetables? It's not. And then I don't know if it's in meat or whatever, but like, you know what meat eats? Like, meat eats grass and grains grown from the soil, and that's where they get their vitamins and minerals from. So they wouldn't have any either because they're eating produce coming from the same shitty soil that we are. So none of our food is going to have iodine in it. And like, this is a major problem actually. And I think based on my research, a lot of people might be iodine deficient. So if you've got a thyroid problem and you're taking thyroid hormone, look back at your medical history. Is there a known cause? Could it possibly be that you're just simply deficient in iodine and you might just have to buy a $20 bottle of this Lugol's iodine solution once a year and simply take one drop mixed in a glass of water every day? Could that be the solution? Are you wasting your time and money going to the doctor? And definitely, if you do that, still do blood tests and work with your doctor on this to get off of your medication and try it. Like, don't just go rogue. I mean, I am, but like, that's not advice. Definitely work with your doctor. Like, but it's just insane. Okay, so here's the other thing. The thyroid medication, side effect, anxiety. And if it's not very clear why you're on it and why your thyroid hormone is low, like if it's due to iodine deficiency, what I suspect for me, based on what you're eating, you might get some iodine sometimes. So now you might be fluctuating. What if I have enough some days and I'm making enough thyroid hormone? Well, now I'm also supplementing it with my medication. So now I have too much. So now I'm going to have hyperthyroid symptoms for a few days or a day when I get enough from my food. And then I won't be able to sleep because I'll be suddenly very energized and like very hungry and like kind of like heart racing, which I get sometimes. And it's weird. And then other days, if I'm eating things that don't have a lot of iodine, maybe that won't happen and I'll be fine. And it's like, this is crazy. Like, we never chase down root causes in the medical industry anymore. We just say, oh, do you have these symptoms? This pill fits that. And it's really sad, but it's because the doctors get paid by these like pharmaceutical companies to give you pills. Like, that's part of how they make a lot of money. I don't know if it's the doctors specifically or the hospitals, but like that's definitely a thing. They're like incentivized to do that. Um anyways, now my unofficial diagnosis when I was a teenager of PCOS, that was only based on heavy periods and an ultrasound one time that showed that I had cysts in my ovaries, which apparently is extremely normal and doesn't mean anything. Um, could it be that I was just a teenager starting my period, so it was crazy for a little bit? Maybe. But you know what else is a symptom of iodine deficiency? Heavy, irregular periods. That's interesting. You know what else is a symptom of iodine deficiency? Anxiety and depression. That's interesting because I've had that for my entire fucking life, even once I was medicated with birth control for the PCOS. Interesting. So, what if it could be that I just start taking iodine and it resolves the thyroid problems and it resolves the absolutely misdiagnosed, probably I don't even have it, PCOS, and then like if it's all just linked to iodine deficiency, I'm taking these 3 pills to cover up a mineral deficiency. I'm taking 3 pills. I go to the doctor every single year. I have to get blood work done every single year. Everybody's telling me I got this, I got that condition. Why do I look and feel relatively healthy, but I got a list of conditions? That's like bullshit, dude. It really is. Like, I'm not broken. The system is broken. Don't throw another pill at me to fix what the first pill started doing. Don't do it. Stop. Like, stop. I don't need more drugs. I really don't. So, the iodine is going to get here in a few days. And I will 100% update. It might take a few months because I got to do my research, like, on myself. I'm a little science experiment now. Don't do this. But I'm doing it. I'm going to try and see what happens when I take it. Just like on a normal day, I'm still taking my synthetic hormones in the morning. See, like, if I take it later, not around any other medication, so there's no interaction, how do I feel? Am I like cracked out, like energized like crazy? If that's true and it happens multiple times, I'll probably stop the levothyroxine because you know what? I've stopped it before because I couldn't fucking get to a doctor because I was in college and busy and it's ridiculous. And so I can stop it. I've done it before. I'll stop it again and just take that. And if that works, then you know what? That was the problem. That means I don't have PCOS. That means I don't need to take birth control unless I'm really just using it as its intended purpose, birth control, which I don't need. So that's 2 pills I don't need to take. You know what else? These fluctuations in mood can be caused by iodine deficiency. You know what I take for mood problems? My antidepressant. Well, guess what else I'm getting off of soon? My antidepressant, even if it's not based on iodine deficiency. I've fixed my environment, so I don't need it anymore. We're already going to get off of that. And then guess what? If I do all that, I don't need to see a doctor anymore. I don't need to go sit in front of somebody and be like, please give me my drugs every year. No, fuck them. And I don't have insurance. That shit costs me $300 every time I go see them. And I'm not going to have to do that anymore if I can get off of all this stuff. And I will be so happy. And then I can go when I feel like it, and I can be in control, and I can say, I think it's time to get these blood tests. I would like you to do this for me. I don't think it should be the other way around. Like, if you don't know a damn thing about your body and what's going on in it, sure, maybe the doctor should be in charge. But I am very passionate about health, and I've been, one of my like special interests or whatever has been like biochemistry and how the body works and stuff since I was a teenager. That was part of my eating disorder. I really like to do research. Like, I wasn't just starving myself, I was like optimizing nutrition and telling my mom, hey, we need to make sure we get enough protein, fats, like carbs at every meal, and we should get slow carbs, not fast carbs, blah blah blah, and we like got to rotate what kind of produce so we can get enough like androgenic blah 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 because we're trying to gain muscle. Like, I know what I'm talking about. And so let me be in charge of my own health, please, because clearly you can't do it, medical industry. Like, I wish I could trust you, but I just can't. Why are we only throwing pills at problems? Like, let's actually solve problems, okay? And how the fuck are they going to do that when every appointment is only 15 minutes long and like 5 minutes of that is the nurse coming in and talking to you and just taking notes on your vitals? And then the doctor comes in, they're stressed out, they're still drinking their coffee, they're like kind of rolling their eyes because they're like so fucking over it, and it's already only just 8 in the morning, and it, like, the industry is broken and we need to fix ourselves. Like, we cannot trust doctors anymore. We can't. Like, you need to do your own research. You need to be your own self-advocate. Wow, isn't that fun that I threw that word out there? Now I sound like everyone else that talks about this. But yeah, you really do. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just saying I'm tired. Oh, here's what else I'm tired of. Why is it that every time I go to the pharmacy to pick up my fucking prescriptions, which only cost me like $45 for 3 months, by the way, I don't mind. Why is it that every time I go, the pharmacist says, do you have insurance yet? Do you have insurance today? No, bitch. No, I don't. She's not a bitch, but I just mean in general. No, medical industry, which is a bitch, yes. I don't have insurance. I work at fucking Domino's. I make minimum wage on paper, but I do. It's like, how do you think these people are going to afford health insurance? Let's talk about that, because this video is already long enough. If you're still watching, you're either watching or you're not. Like, no, actually, I'll save it for another one. Watch the next video if you want to hear this part. But yeah, that's what I had to say about the medical industry for now. We'll talk about insurance next.